PLB with Basketball News, back with another video, and in today's video, the 2020 NBA playoff predictions video. So we know that the 2020 NBA playoffs are starting today, and I'm going to give my updated predictions since some things have changed. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to my other channels in the description below, and let's go ahead and get into this video. So first, the 1-8 matchup, we'll start off with the Western Conference, is the Lakers versus the Portland Trailblazers, and I think this is a very interesting series, and I think if any team is going to stop the Lakers right now in the first round, I think the Portland Trailblazers could be that team, obviously, besides the Clippers. I think the Blazers are that team, with Hassan Whiteside being able to guard Anthony Davis, and if he plays good defense, Anthony Davis will have trouble in this series. LeBron James, he'll obviously be very good in this series, but they do have Trevor Ariza possibly to guard him. And the Trailblazers have a lot of weapons. Obviously, they have Damian Lillard. They have a lot of other players that will be very good for them in this series. And in this series, right now, I think the Lakers bench is a little bit better right now. And I'm going to go with the Lakers in 7. I think this will be one of the better first-round matchups. Now we've got the 4-5 game, the Rockets versus the Thunder. Now in this game, I think this is a very interesting matchup. It depends, to me, a lot how much Russell Westbrook plays in this series. I definitely think they need Russell Westbrook in their lineup. And I think Steven Adams will have a great series, and Chris Paul will have a great series, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will have a great series as well. But for the Rockets, I think James Harden will finally be good in the playoffs. And you've got Robert Covington, too, who's going to be a good 3-and-D player. And with that, the Thunder have the better bench, I think. But I'm going to take the Rockets in 6 in this series. Next is the Jazz versus the Nuggets, the 3-6 matchup. Now the Jazz, they have Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and if any player is going to stop Nikola Jokic, it's going to be Rudy Gobert. For the Nuggets, they have Bol, Michael Porter, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton should be playing. And if they have all those pieces, I can't see a way that they lose in this series to a Jazz team that's pretty banged up right now. They won't have Mike Conley or Bojan Bogdanovic. And I don't think they have enough pieces to stop Jamal Murray right now, or Gary Harris, or Will Barton. So with that being said, the Nuggets will win in 7. Next is the 2-7 matchup, the Clippers versus the Mavericks. And the Clippers obviously have the better bench. And I think the Mavericks could have a decent bench to stop the Clippers bench right now. But with Willie Cauley-Stein opting out of the bubble, and you've also got Jalen Brunson who's injured. You've got a lot of players that are injured, so the Mavericks are a teeny bit banged up. But I still don't think the Mavericks would win this series. And the Clippers with Montrezl Harrell, Marcus Morris, Lou Williams, and Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac is the only problem I have. I think Kristaps Porzingis mainly goes off in this series, but that still is not enough to lead them, and they win, and the Clippers win in 6. We'll move on to the Eastern Conference now. You've got the Bucks versus the Magic. This is a pretty easy series for me. The Magic just don't have the players to guard Giannis, and Jonathan Isaac I thought could have been that player possibly, and maybe they win a game or so. But right now, I think Bucks in 4. Pacers versus the Heat. This is a nightmare scenario for the Pacers. Oladipo hasn't been playing well. Sabonis is not even going to be playing. Turner has been not playing well. So, for that reason, the Heat will win in 5. Celtics versus the 76ers. I think this is a very interesting matchup. Right now, I say the 76ers have the better bench with Al Horford and some other players. And the Celtics, they're still very good with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Lots of good players on that team. But in this series, the 76ers are going to win in 7 games. Even though they don't have Ben Simmons, they're going to win in 7 games. Nets versus the Raptors will win in 4 sweep. The Nets don't win a game. With the lockdown defense that the Raptors have, no chance for the Nets and a banged up team that they have. Second round, we've got the Lakers versus the Rockets. I think this is a very interesting matchup. But in this series, once again, the Lakers have the better bench. And the Rockets, they just don't have a lot off the bench to offer. So for that reason, and I just don't think the Rockets are nearly as good of a team as the Lakers. And the Lakers will win in 6. The Rockets will win a couple of games just because they do have Russell Westbrook and James Harden. But besides that, that's it. Lakers in 6. Clippers versus Nuggets. I don't think the Nuggets stand much of a chance in this. Nikola Jokic is going to have to go off in every single one of the games, probably average 35 points a game. And I don't think that's going to happen. Michael Porter will not score the ball very well. And Jamal Murray will be locked down by Patrick Beverley. There's no chance that the Nuggets do much in this series, but they will win a game due to them having Jokic. But besides that, they lose in 5. And the Clippers win in 5. Bucks versus the Heat. Now, I think if any team is going to stop Giannis, the Heat is the team. Because they've got Bam Adebayo, and they've got a lot of other players, and I think they have the depth to beat the Bucks in this series. And they win in 7 games. 76ers versus Raptors. I think this is a nightmare scenario for the 76ers just because Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol will have Joel Embiid on lockdown, and Al Horford won't get much off the bench either, which I thought was going to be their weapon versus the Celtics, but because of that, the Raptors will win in 6. Our third round matchups, we've got the Lakers versus the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals, and in this series is going to be close, especially with the Lakers having Dion Waiters, who I think is going to be very good in this series. But with the Clippers having Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, and Marcus Morris all on the same bench, I just don't see a lot of pieces on the Lakers bench that could stop that. And the Lakers bench I don't think is nearly as good, even though they do have Kyle Kuzma. I don't think their bench is nearly as good. And for that reason, the Clippers will win in 7 games, and they will move on to the NBA Championship. Heat versus the Raptors. Now, this is a very interesting series. I think the Raptors have a lot of depth. But the Heat also do. And this series is going to 7 games, I think. And this could be both of these Western and Eastern Conference Finals series could be very good series. But with the Raptors having the defense that they do, they have the team to stop Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, all their weapons pretty much. They have the team to do that. And for those reasons, the Raptors will win in 7. Now, the Clippers versus the Raptors in the NBA Championship. This is going to be a great series. I think the Raptors, once again, have the pieces to stop the Clippers team. And the Raptors, I think they're lacking that one star. Obviously, they do have Pascal Siakam. But I say they're kind of missing another star right now. And in this series, they will miss a star like Kawhi Leonard. And for those reasons, the Clippers bench is a little bit better. I think both benches are very good. And I know nothing changed from the start of my predictions as far as who's in the NBA Championship, but there were some changes. And the Clippers are a very good team with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. They've got a lot of weapons. Versus a Raptors team that has Pascal Siakam, and their second best player is probably Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is good, but he's a good defender, but the problem is he would be guarding Paul George. And Paul George would be guarding him the other way too, which would be a problem. So the Clippers in 7, they'll win the NBA Finals in 2020, and they just have so much depth and a starting lineup that's very good. The only way that I see them losing any of these series is to the lack of center positions on their team, and Montrezl Harrell possibly not being just not as good as he would be. But that's the only way I could see the Clippers losing this NBA Finals. They built the team, and I think they're going to win it this year. So those are my 2020 NBA playoff predictions. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you will get notified whenever I upload a video. Link to my other channels in the description below. And that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.